Hey guys, it's Hannah here. How you going? I'm joined in the studio by Alex Whitty.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And we are about to interview Scott Holiday from the band Rival Sons. How you going, Scott?
Hello. I'm doing all right. How you fine folks doing?
Yeah, good. Whereabouts are you at the moment?
I just landed in Auckland right now.
Awesome.
Like literally got bust over to the hotel, and I'm kind of unpacking while I talk to you guys.
Awesome.
So we just saw you in Adelaide when you opened up for Black Sabbath. It was absolutely insane. Do you find the crowds different at every venue you play at?
Yeah. I mean, they're different. We get asked this all the time. Do you notice a difference in the crowds from like country to country or city to city or whatever, you know, and what's the major difference? You know, when it's our own show, headline shows, it's harder to tell the difference because for us it's like our crowd, and you notice more of a community and similarities and differences. But being a Sabbath show, it's very different because really those people are really coming to see their favorite heavy metal band go out. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So if anybody wants to even listen to us, we're actually pretty grateful.
So you just go on.
Yeah, no, so it's hard to tell city to city. There's always like a rowdier city or a more mellow city. It's hard to say.
So you're playing... I
think Adelaide was great.
Thank you. We were right in the mosh pit.
We were up front.
So just going back to, you're playing to sell out shows now. When you first started off, were you just playing to little gigs to a handful of people, or has it always been absolutely crazy the whole time?
No, of course. Just like any band. I mean, we've been like basically earning it one fan at a time. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we all were in bands previously. So, for where we're from, Huntington Beach, Long Beach, like that area, Los Angeles, we were kind of a Voltron band for our area because each guy in the band had like signed deals and played with a lot of different people. So we had an audience already, but we played plenty of small joints. And then when we went across the United States the first times, we played to nobody.
Yeah.
You know, we went across and like played the barkeep and the promoter, and they were flipping their shit out. They were loving it, so we knew we were doing something right. Awesome. At least the two people who were there were loving it. But it grew pretty quick.
So just quickly, Scott, can you just outline your musical journey and what first drew you into being into the metal and the rock scene?
I have no idea how we're even in the metal scene, to be totally honest. But
really?
because we're basically a blues-based, soul-based rock and roll band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess the metal scene has just accepted us, and coming from Earache Records as well, our label is based out of the UK and is like the premier death metal label, and they signed a blues-based rock and roll kind of thing. And we do things like Hellfest and stuff. I have no idea how we got accepted by that audience, but God bless them.
Hey Scott, you're currently on tour with Black Sabbath. What really happens backstage? Do you get into any trouble or anything?
Can you give us a bit of goss? What's the backstage goss, Scott?
It's, to be honest, we take the music part of it very seriously, and it's we do fill dates even though Sabbath won't. They're like one-on, one-off kind of thing. We keep playing, so we can't be too naughty, and we have to keep our heads on very straight to be able to deliver a good show every night. And we headline their like hour and a half, 2-hour shows with Sabbath every night. It's like 45 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
So there is some debauchery. I won't lie to you. There is some foul play.
You've got to keep the rock and roll going, Scott.
There's a bit of rock and roll happening. If I said anything else, I'd be lying. But we keep it pretty legit as well.
Yeah.
So how did you get to supporting Black Sabbath?
That's interesting. We were actually playing an awards show for Classic Rock magazine, and they asked us to play. Of course, we want to play because the audience isn't like a regular audience. It's all people that are nominated for awards or super famous. It's basically the who's who of classic rock. Awesome. So it's basically all your heroes, and the audience were like, hell yes, we will do that. and we're buddies with Sammy Hagar, and Sammy was hosting it.
That's
so we're
crazy.
like, it'll be a good time, and a few of our other super friends were going to be there and playing and stuff. So we were like, okay, let's do it. And we played. We did, I think, only like 2 songs or something is what they gave us. And our heroes actually gave us a standing ovation, which was very unreal.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Super heartwarming.
But Scott,
Little tear, walk off stage, and then Ozzy and Sesh'n were in the front row there.
oh my God, you must have
So
some.
they,
How do you remain calm?
it's once you're up there and we're engaging in the music, we're not thinking at all like about nerves or anything like that. We're just playing the songs. It's kind of like goes into autopilot mode. But Sesh'n and Ozzy came back with the kids and stuff, and the whole family was there. It was pretty cool. They all came back, and Ozzy came back and shuffled over. Honestly, man, it's the best band I've seen in years. Come on, man, it's great, it's fucking great.
teach me how to do that impersonation. That was great.
And then Sesh'n came over. She goes, seriously, we love you guys. Oh my God, you guys are great. You're great. Do the tour with us. Okay, yeah.
I love that.
Definitely.
Hey, Black Sabbath, they're not the only band, though, you've been on the road with. You've opened for other acts, such as Aerosmith, like AC/DC. What's that like?
It's, we get to tour with our heroes. It's been really, really fantastic.
It must be.
It's great. Even groups like, even going out with like Slash, who these guys are all friends now, which is just weird to me forever. It's weird, right? And Slash is a very normal guy. You're hanging out with him, and we're talking guitars and just normal BS. And I do every like few hours have to go, dude, Slash. Yeah, dude, I like doing all
oh my God,
that'd be amazing.
I think I wet my pants. Hey,
As a fellow guitarist, that'd be like that's the dream.
Alex sitting next to me here is a busker, and he's really into guitar. So I'm going to hand it over to him now for a bit to just ask you some more musical questions about your actual technique in playing and your equipment that you use.
Let's get dorky.
So how long have you been playing?
I started playing probably like 11, 12 years old is about when I started. Like 11 with a classical guitar, string guitar.
Yeah, that's what I started with.
That's how it goes. It's like the cheap guitar. It's the one your parents get you in case you're just going through a phase. Like basically almost free, the guitar.
Yeah.
And then I moved to electric. I got an electric from an uncle the following year when I was 12 and got all into it after that, pretty heavy onto it.
That's awesome. So what kind of influences did you like listen to growing up? Did your parents have any like effect on that?
Major effect. Yeah, my parents and their brothers and sisters, my aunties and uncles, they were, a pretty broad age span, and they were like they partied a lot. We lived in the desert, high desert in California, and they would throw like off-road parties where all of our friends would come in and camp on our property up in the desert, and like they would rage. I thought that was just a normal thing parents did, but now that I'm older with kids, I'm thinking, holy shit, you guys are raging.
Are you a cool dad, Scott?
I mean, I'm on tour with Black Sabbath. Come on.
So, have you always been like
all that music? Yeah, there was always rock and roll very prevalent at all the parties. It was a huge part of it. We played vinyl and CDs and even reel to reel and all this crazy classic shit they would dig up on huge systems. And it was like the royalty of rock, which is like, the Stones, the Beatles, the Faces, the Who, Pink Floyd, Jeff Beck group.
Vinyl's coming back, Scott. Vinyl is back in fashion.
We push vinyl very, very hard from the beginning of our career. We actually got #1 vinyls all over the world. Just #1 sales in vinyl.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We're pushing it. We're into it. That's how I listen to music anyway at home. I really don't even want to make a CD, to be honest. I either want to download it, so I'm going to have 40 billion songs on my phone, or when I'm home, I want to actually listen to it and do the whole thing. Definitely. Put it on, flip it.
Have that scratch at the start where it's like, before the song starts playing.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a good trend, and I hope it lasts. It's not just a trend, but people are enjoying this enough for it to stick around.
So, have you always been a Gibson man? Like, as a fellow, guitarist. I'm a major Fender man, so...
No, I grew up being a Fender man. I played mostly Strats when I started.
Yes.
And, Tellys, and I've got kind of everything now. I don't play that many Gibsons. I have two, and they're older ones. One's a 65, and one is a custom shop thing from like 20 years or whatever.
That's
and then
amazing.
I have a 62 Jazzmaster, last year's slab board that I take out. And then most of the stuff I play are custom. I have these builders I work with, and they're out of control. They're just like... They're out of control. They're guitars that I've kind of dreamt up with these guys, like colors and pickups and caps and everything I wanted to do, and binding and every detail. So I've had a lot of fun with it recently.
Now, Scott, your band, Rebel Sons, they have a really, really, you guys all have a unique style and look. I absolutely love your moustache. Have you always, is that just always been you? It's so cool. How much gel do you use on that every day?
What? Say that again?
How much gel do you put in your moustache every day?
I heard some other guy at a bar the other night say, "Do you put gel in it?" And I go, "Gel? Like hair gel?"
Well, what do you put in it? How do you get it?
You just swirl it?
No, come on, man. You put proper moustache wax in it.
You're kidding.
You wake up and pop it in. No.
You're kidding. There's a thing called moustache wax.
Are you kidding me? Of course.
I don't think we have that in Australia.
We have beetles.
I got some there.
All right. All right, there you go. You learned something. Hey, I read that you guys. I was reading articles about you guys. I was doing my research. I read that you guys. Somebody said you transcend an old school approach with a new school attitude. How do you do this?
That sounds like something like MTV would say. I don't know.
I thought it was pretty deep. It was emotional.
Yeah, I don't know. That's some hipster talk, man. I don't know.
Hipster talk.
Yeah, we make rock and roll music.
Yeah.
It's it's honest and direct and visceral to the point, and really try to not bullshit the listener or ourselves when we make it. We do it live most of the time on our records too, and try to remove any kind of pretension or anything like that to make something very pure. I think that's an old school ethos. I think that's an old school idea. And of course it's rock and roll, and it's got a lot of soul and blues in it. People don't use that anymore. People could put rock and roll and metal and all this stuff like in one category now. It's like Foo Fighters are rock and roll to people.
Yeah.
Not really, though. They're actually alternative music.
Yeah.
Metallica's rock and roll. That's not really rock and roll at all. That's heavy metal. And I like these bands, too, and everything. Coldplay's rock and roll. It could not be less rock and roll. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what we're doing is actually kind of more like the old school idea of rock and roll, where there is blues and there is a soul element and funk elements and country elements even maybe. Like, it's really the amalgamation like that, where you still want to shake your ass, you still want to pump your fist. It's like rock and roll. So I think tonally, there's some old school sounds I like to dig into, and some old school techniques we like to dig into. But at the same time, we're using plenty of new stuff and influenced as much by the Jeff Beck group as we are by like Radiohead or something. Even though you don't hear that coming through, there's going to be things that permeate the overall sound in the end. So we're alive now. It's going to be new, but it's kind of got some of the traits of our old rock and roll.
Awesome. So, majority of music these days is pop. How do you feel you guys are succeeding so much in the music industry?
I think we need to succeed a lot more. We're lucky to be where we are, but I mean, for most people, they're just discovering us right now, and we're 6 records in, and we've been touring hard for 6-7 years, So, I think that's one reason we're probably starting to do well. And you notice we've obviously got a lot of people bring us on tour and hit us up. That's going to put us in front of a lot of people. But I think it really comes down to good rock and roll, good songs, good songwriting. And I guess people are connecting, and hopefully they keep on connecting a lot more.
Awesome. So, do you have a secret pleasure pop song?
Did Justin Bieber or Taylor Swift in there, Scott?
Oh, hell yeah. Let me think what I'm really...
We went on your phone right now on the plane flight over to Auckland. Was there a bit of Kanye in there?
No, I didn't do any of that. And I'll do hip hop and pop too. But I think we've brought back, because I didn't get into it when it initially hit, but I have a 7-year-old daughter.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And,
watch out, Harry Styles.
I mean, so I hear all of it anyway. I'm into all of it anyway. So we'll get into all kind of dancey kind of stuff too. That's cool. I want to hear it. Let's hear what's going down over there. But my daughter's been singing "Hello" by Adele, and it's the most adorable thing in the world. Like, imagine this adorable little girl, and I can hear her in her room all by herself. You're not I'm going, oh my God.
Does she have a future in music as well?
I have 2 kids. My son's a little older, and he likes to play drums.
Yeah.
So I put a drum set in his room and a bunch of other stuff for his friends to play when they come over. And my daughter likes to play guitar and sing. So they're into it. They're not chasing it down or anything, but they are into it. Yeah.
Now I believe you guys, everything I've read or any interview, you guys don't really write on the road together as a band. Can you explain this process and how you go into lockdown in the studio and you all just have all these ideas flow and you get the real rock and roll sound?
You've just explained it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
No, I mean, I'll write myself and not share, and Jay will write on his own and not share, and I know Dave does that as well now, and Michael kind of will come up with a bunch of tempos and drum ideas, and kind of everyone will backlog their ideas and what they want to contribute. And the whole idea was to be, like I was saying earlier, to be very off the cuff and instinctual, and it kind of echoes the rock and roll we love. That's how it was made. If you think like a Chuck Berry or a Little Richard or like a Beatles or a Stones or any of those groups from that era, they were working very, very quickly. A group like The Who, they would fly in from another state or whatever, another part of the country, and land just to record and fly back out to do another gig. Yeah, do a gig, fly in and record, and fly out and do another gig. So I mean, it was literally happening in hours. And there's a magic to that.
Is there a pressure as well though? Have you ever just gone into so say you go into the studio one day and everyone's like, nah, got nothing. Have a coffee.
Yeah, not so much. Sometimes it's a little dry, but mostly we're pretty exploding. We're pretty ready. Especially we've been out for 2 years with Great Western Valkyrie, so it's like we are dying to make new music, make new statements, use new tones, play new guitars, hear things new. Because not that we're sick of our music, but we're sick of it. We want more music, new music. Back
to the country influence before. You mentioned there's a little bit of country there. Your last couple of albums been recorded in Nashville.
Yeah.
Good on Nashville.
Yeah.
Oh, what studio were you in there? Because I just went over there for Christmas and I was just blown away by the music. Just everything is music there. It's incredible.
It's crazy. When you go to the shopping centers, it's it's just like a regular old shopping center with a pet store and a hardware store. Yeah. But the sign when you pull in is in the shape of a guitar.
It is.
It's like music is all over that city. It really is.
Did you go to the karaoke bar? Did it in downtown?
I did not. I mean, the stuff I do there when I'm not in the studio, if I have my family out or whatever, I'll do nature stuff. There's some beautiful lakes and parks and drives and stuff. I usually do that kind of stuff. So, and I'm mostly on lockdown. I'm mostly having to work long hours while I'm there.
We're very lucky to be talking to you at the moment then, Scott.
So performing with Black Sabbath, Tony Iommi is probably one of the biggest and best guitarists going around. Have you learnt much from him, or have you taught him anything, or do you play with him?
He's learned everything from me. He really owes me a lot. So.
Hey, I'm just going to ask. Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, you go ahead.
I'm just going to say, this wasn't a really planned question, but I've got Alex sitting next to me, and he's an amazing guitarist, but you're also one of his idols. And just in this opportunity, could you just give Alex any piece of advice that you wish you had when you were younger, just to get him, opening for Black Sabbath as well?
I I don't know how to get you to open for Black Sabbath. It probably will never happen because they are never touring again. But
exactly.
To a band of this scale,
they could open. He could open for you.
Yeah, that could happen. The advice I would give you as a guitar player or a business advice would be different. I guess I'd have to know where you are and what you're thinking. You know, it's not just plain advice, like vanilla, plain, simple advice. But what I do tell a lot of guitar players, something that I did from a young age and progressed more with it for my own playing, is don't only listen to guitar. So guitar is your instrument, and you could just stop listening to guitar players for a while. Listen to horn players. Listen to people. Listen to like the normal, just the simplest ones, like or the most blatant ones. I mean, like Miles or Coltrane. Listen to how drums work in music, and play like you're thinking how the guitar would translate like a drum. This is something James Brown said. He went to all of his band members like, "What's your instrument?" You know, and they would say it's a horn. Incorrect. What's your instrument? Playing the bass. Wrong. And finally, what's your instrument, Bobby Bird? And he's playing a few different things that he says, no matter what it is, it's a drum, Mr. Brown. So that's the idea. Think of your instrument like a drum. Get super rhythmic with it. Listen to voices. Copy the voice, how the voice sounds. Listen to all the, clarinet. Listen to piano. Translate onto the guitar those different instruments, and it will open up a lot of doors.
Thank you so much for the insight, Scott.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
So at the end of this tour, what are your plans for the future?
This is a really long tour for us.
How much longer have you got?
I mean, it goes for like a year or something. It's crazy.
No
I don't
way.
know exactly.
Oh.
I only want to know so far out ahead because it's too scary for me to know how long I'm working.
That's great, yeah.
But it's really great. We have a record coming out called Hollow Bones. It'll be out on June 10th worldwide, and we'll be on tour with Black Sabbath when that happens. We'll do a bunch of festivals and stuff. I'm sure we're going to come back here.
Hey, you need to come back to South Australia.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, I mean, because we got to play something besides these arenas for Black Sabbath's audience mostly, and we only did two headline gigs, and they were crazy. It was at the Cherry Bar in Melbourne.
No way!
And
I love that place. How amazing is that?
Great. Shout out to James Young. He's the man, the owner. He's great. The place was great, but it was
incredible.
So hot and tight and so many people, and the walls were sweating. And, I mean, we literally bust in, jumped out of the van, got on stage, and when we were done, go right back into the van.
That's really
and that was fantastic. It was, you could not fit one more anything in there at all. And we did Frankie's Pizza in Sydney as well.
Did you? I went there. Like last time I was in Sydney. It's cool as well, isn't it?
Really, really cool. But it was the same thing. You couldn't fit anything in there. That was it. It was just.
I think we've got the same travel itinerary, Scott. We've been to all the same places.
It was weird. I didn't know. I didn't know what a Frankie's Pizza was.
It's in a weird spot, isn't it? It's kind of up that street.
Yeah, I think it's in a cool spot. I was like, we're playing Olympic Park. I'm looking at my schedule, right? The tour date. So we're doing this arena, that arena, Perth Arena. Blah blah. It was on and on and on. Okay, we're doing the Olympic Park in Sydney, right? The Olympic Arena, and the next night we're playing a pizza place.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking, what the hell is this, man? Like, we've got like the kids' pizza joint at home. I don't know if you have it, the Chuck E. Cheese. I'm like, are we playing an arena one night and a Chuck E. Cheese the next night? This is some bullshit. So they straightened me out and said, no, this is a rite of passage. You have to play this joint.
It is. I said to a busker when I was in Sydney, I've got one night here. Where do I have to go to see some really rocking music? And he goes, Frankie's Pizza. So I was there.
Yeah, so it was great. It was great. The people were great there. The crowds were great. It was really, really fun.
Anyway, thank you so much, Scott, for calling in. I'm just going to hand it over to Alex to see if there's any last things he wants to talk to you about, and then I'll wrap it up.
Fantastic.
So what's the coolest experience you've had on stage?
There's a lot. It's a really cool job, man. That's what I'm going to tell you. If I had to measure it down to one, it'd be really impossible. I can think of one that comes into my mind right out of the gate. I'm a big Deep Purple fan.
Yeah.
And we toured with those cats for a couple months and for a month and a half, and they were fantastic. Their playing was insane.
Yeah.
And they were the nicest guys, and we just made like really close friends with them over that time, and we keep in touch still.
Wow.
And when we were playing in Nashville, they all came out. They were recording in Nashville, and the whole band came out and hung out. It was just, it's insane. It's insane. So on stage, we were finishing the tour we were doing with them. It was in Europe, and we were in London at the London O2 Arena, and it was sold out. And they had asked me to jump up and do Smoke on the Water with them.
No. Oh, you know how to make us jealous, Scott.
Yeah, that would have...
You know exactly what to say.
Yeah, and we never talked about it, how we were going to get in and out, who was going to do what. So it was literally like an improvised, like 9-minute version where we traded solos, and I just walked around the stage and got to visit everyone on stage and play.
Wow.
Smoke on the Water, like I was 13 years old again. It was really, really
What an honor.
That would have been amazing.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Scott, for having a chat to us. We'll let you finish unpacking now. It's been...
Yeah, I gotta find some dinner around here.
You've got to get that moustache wax.
It's waxed. Don't worry, it's fine. It's curling.
Hey, thank